We did have some other guys that backed out that didn't want the fight for whatever reason. We were supposed to actually headline. I heard that it was supposed to be Caraway and I headlining the Tough finale, and he didn't take the fight. So, he brought Eddie Wineland out of retirement, who had broken his jaw and decided he was done fighting, and Caraway calls him out, and now he's calling out Michael McDonald, who we haven't seen since he vanished like a fart in the wind after our fight. It's like, you want to step up, let's do it. But he didn't take the fight, so this guy stepped up, and I can appreciate that. And I mean, for me, I treat everyone like an equal, whether they're a fighter or someone on the street, whatever it is. And I'm going to take this guy very seriously, and yeah, it's a big opportunity for him, but it's also a big opportunity for me. I get double the money. It's another, part of my story, and move towards the things that I want. I mean, I'm not going to be doing this sport a whole lot longer, to be honest. It takes a lot of time and energy to get to the point where I'm at now, whether it be, the media, but like really the technique and the awareness and the experience. So I'm ready and poised to step in and fight for a title at any point in my career. I always have been. They have me ranked fourth at 135, but that's because Asuncao has a win over TJ, who's the current champ, who's my teammate. So it's an interesting dynamic up, there. My last fight against Barao was not, in my opinion, the fight should not have been over, and I took that on 2 weeks' notice also, just to fill a spot. I mean, I'm right there for the 35-pound title, and honestly, the best matchup for me would be Conor, because he's a bigger, slower guy, and he's susceptible to submissions and grappling. And like I said, that's my bread and butter, on top of being a guy that can strike and be durable and be fast and creative. So, that's a fight also I'd like. I mean, at 45s, that's really the only fight I'd like to do. But at 35s, I'm just poised and ready. I don't have any I need to get that belt in order to have anything. I'm a happy guy. Whether people want to remember it or not, I was a reigning champion for a long time when the WC was the only spot for the weight class, and it was owned by Zuffa. But I always am gunning for the top spot, but I'm not going to step over people that I love and care for to get that either. It's hard, the UFC does a good job, and I've seen this for years because I study the sport. I'm probably the most knowledgeable person in this sport, from being a company owner that sponsored guys, to being a champion, to being a guy that was there at the very beginning where it was illegal in California, and I was fighting with shoes on and fighting in Indian casinos and no weight classes for me, etc., to being part of a management team, to being part of the best team in the world, the founder of it. I mean, I know this sport. I've been a mentor. I've been a champion. I've been a contender. I've had tough losses. I've had big injuries. This is my sport, and I understand it. So, that being said, it's this is something that I see the UFC doing. They give you, as your career gets better or gets more progressive, they continue to reward you for sticking in there. And the money gets better, the notoriety, the perks get better if they're a guy that they want to stay. And of course they want me to stay. They'd like to build the next generation of fighters off of me, but I'm not going out like that. I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be beating guys up. I'm going to be at the top contender, and then I'll be out. I think I'll probably know inside. I mean, my parents I've got great genetics, thanks Mom and Dad. They are vibrant and energetic and into their 60s. They look good, and they're active, and they feel good. But I have a lot of different interests. And Rousey, I remember in high school, I was like, I'm not going to get married till I'm I want to have kids, not till I'm 27. And then it got pushed to 32. And now it's 36, and now I'm thinking we'll wait till maybe right before 40.
There's no cap for us, right?
Yeah. We don't have a biological clock, but once you get somewhere and you're Rousey could probably make multiple millions of dollars to go beat up a girl that she knows she can beat up. Is she going to pass that up when she's 31? Probably not. So, I mean, saying things is one thing, doing things are another. I feel great. I feel amazing. I test myself with guys like Cody Garbrandt and Chad Mendez and TJ Dillashaw and Joseph Benavidez and Chris Holdsworth. I mean, these are guys that are, you know, there's gonna be a 40-year span from the guys that I'm training with right now to when I finish my career. Like the guys that I fought that were, you know, 30-something when I was 23, to the guys that I'm going against every day that are 17 years old that are giving me everything I can handle. They're going to have to be fighting guys for years. I mean, there will seriously be a 40-year span in the competitors, if you like, say who's touched too. So I like that. I mean, you only get to live once. You only get to be a competitor once. You only get to be this age, this minute, this second, one time, and I cherish that. But honestly, I've got a lot of stuff going on where I mean, I have a lot of business stuff going on. I have multiple things inside and outside of MMA. I'm doing my first movie. I'm interested in a lot of different things, real estate and things like that. When my focus gets so pulled away from the sport that it's not important to me, that's when I'll know it's time to step away. And I'm not scared of a fight. I don't think I will be till the day I die. And I don't think I ever have been, you know? So that's something that you always have to remember, like, just because you're not afraid to fight, is it the time to fight? And that's where you have to be self-reflective and you know, it's easy to have a realistic view though when you have killers like Cody No Love, who's going to be a superstar in this sport you guys watch, and see guys like Angelo Trevino and Joseph Morales, and those are two guys that have trained with me since they're 11 and 12 years old that are now, you know, 22 and 23 and undefeated as pros. It's easy to gauge where you're at, so I'll be aware of that. Well, I think everything is going to lead back to real estate. So, you know, business, I love business. I love the fight game. You know, if I really enjoy it, for sure, but we're going to have to see. I feel like more realistic is being a producer type of guy and maybe on screen quite a bit, but more putting the whole thing together, because I feel like I have a knack for putting things together and eyeball for talent and so I mean, I like the business side of it. I do think there's a value to being an on-screen personality, but understanding how things work, about the distribution, about getting people attached, about coming up with a concept and finding, you know, ways to make it happen. Like, that's kind of my specialty. So I think there's money to be made in the entertainment world, and so it's something that I'll definitely attack, but it'll be something to help me continue with the real estate thing also.